Hi, Stampers. Welcome to Learning with Friends. I'm Pat Fairless from Fairless Stamp and Flair, and I'm so glad you're here. I hope I can share something with you today that maybe you haven't thought of doing or reminds you of something you've done before and forgotten. I have that issue a lot. Somebody will show something and I'm like, oh yeah, I remember I've done that before, but I've totally forgot all about it. So the technique I'm going to show isn't really a technique so much as it's kind of more a tip or a trick. But we're going to do some stamping with acrylic blocks. And no, we're not going to put stamps on the blocks. We're just going to use the blocks. So let's go ahead and flip to my other camera and get started. Okay. The way it's going to work today is I'm going to show you a couple different ways to do this. And then I'm going to show you both cards because they look different, even though they're exact same card. But the method I use, or the technique, we'll call it technique, is a little bit different for each. And I'm going to show you the one that I did first when I made my cards, because honestly, it's less messy than the first one. And if once you get your hands all inky, then you tend to spread it where you don't want it. And I had to do some repairs, or I should say, hide some smudges on my other cards because I got my hands inky. So we're going to take our acrylic box, and I've got, I don't know which letter this is. It's not quite 2 inches by maybe 1 5/8 or something. Guess I could measure. Yep, it's about 1 7/8 by 1 5/8. I just chose this because I can use 3 different colors and it fit nicely on the paper that I have. So I'm using 3 different colors. I've got blueberry, bushel. Is this one? Ooh, my camera's jumping around. I'm not sure why. Hold on. That was a glitch. Not in the camera, but I think in my streaming software. I didn't know what it was doing all of a sudden. So hopefully you're back full screen. Anyway, I've got blueberry bushel, bubble bath, and Highland Heather are the 3 colors I'm going to use. So I'm just going to get these all open. And we're going to start with blueberry bushel. And I'm just going to ink up my acrylic block. Now, some colors are going to be much darker than others, obviously. So you might want to play a little bit, but I'm just going to use each of them full strength. And I'm going to place this one. Actually, I'm going to start with the middle one, which is Highland Heather. And I'll explain why as we go. When I first did this, I did exactly what I was just going to show you, and it ended up not coming out very balanced. So if I start with the middle one, and it's covered with ink, and I just kind of place it in the middle, then I can go to each side, and it comes out the same on top and bottom. So this is Highland Heather. And we'll do the blueberry bushel next, since I have that pretty much inked and ready to go. So let's just put that one up on the top. Okay. And then the last color I'm going to do is Bubble Bath, which is a light color. And we'll just put that one down here. And honestly, I did re-ink my pads before we did this, and this is fine. The first time I did it, it was a little dry and I didn't really get too much color. So you can easily just redo it again if you want to make it darker, right? So that is it. That is stamping with your acrylic block. Now, when I designed my card, this is kind of the look I was going for, was something clean and simple to put my image on the top. This is just for a background. But now I'm going to show you what I did the first time. And after I did it, I wasn't really crazy about it. And so that's why I went back and did this. But the more that I looked at it afterwards, I kind of like the other one. Okay, so this is watercolor paper. The first one was just basic white cardstock. This is watercolor paper. And you can, I recommend you dampen this first before you stamp when you're using watercolors. Look at that, already got ink on my fingers and already got it on the cardstock. So let's just flip it over. You can either use your water painter and brush a coating of water on here, or you can use your Stampin' Spritzer and spritz it with water. And I'm going to pull it away from the camera just so I make sure I keep the water off the lens of the camera. And I spritzed it 3 or 4 times, just enough to get a little coating of water on there. And then let's again start with the Highland Heather, and you're going to see what happens with the water on there. See how it started to spread? Isn't that fun? Well, my first time I did it, I wasn't real happy with that because it spread a lot, and this blueberry bushel is known to spread a lot because it's dark. And it was the first one I did after I spritzed. So it's not quite as much today. And if it looks like your watercolor paper is drying out, you can always add a little more water, either with your water painter or your or just stamp it again. So let's go ahead and add the bubble bath and see how this blueberry bushel is really spreading. So we could leave it like this, and I wasn't real happy with that because one spread a lot and the others didn't spread very much. So let me move my ink pads out of the way just so I don't stick my hand in them. And I'm going to take my spritzer and spritz this again. And I'm going to spritz it where I want it to run a little bit more. So this is kind of dry looking up here at the top. So let's spritz that corner. Look at that. There it goes. And now the Highland Heather is moved. Now the bubble bath, for some reason, even though I spritz it quite a bit, it doesn't really tend to run too much. And I'm not 100% sure why. I'm just going to ink it up again. And I'm going to try it once more now that there's more water on there and just see if it gets what it does. We're just playing and experimenting. So I got a little bit more color. So I'm good with that. So I'm going to grab some paper towels. Okay, and I'm just going to mop up the excess water a little bit. And what I normally do is either just set this aside to dry, or you can hit it with your heat tool if you're impatient and you want to dry it more quickly. So I'm just going to wave it around a little bit. I didn't bring my heat tool with me today. I always think of something once I start these that I should have had. And I probably should have had my heat tool, but it's all right. So now here's the 2 different ones. And which one do you like? Do you like this one? This is what I originally envisioned for my card. I'm going to show you the cards in a minute. So hang on, don't go away. This is the one I did first, and I'm like, oh, this doesn't look anything like what I envisioned. So that's why I tried again on regular cardstock without any kind of water. Now you can control a little bit how much this will spread based on how much water you put on there. But when I did this, I also decided, well, it's looking kind of messy. So maybe I should do something to make it a little bit more messy. And I don't know if you've done this or not, but here's another little tip or trick. If you have Stampin' Right markers, and I just grabbed my blueberry bushel because that's this color. You could use black, you could use a dark brown, dark gray, whatever you want. And I just wanted some speckles on here. So using the brush end of your Stampin' Right marker, take it and put it just partially into the cap and then flick it away from you. Now I would normally say do this after it's dry because it will, obviously, since this is still wet, the speckles are running a bit. So unless you like that look, that's fine. Otherwise, dry it first and then your speckles will be a little bit more defined. So those are the two ways we've done stamping. Now, the other thing, just as another hint information, don't forget you can always use your acrylic blocks like a palette plate. You can take this and pick up ink with the Stampin' Blend, your blender pens, or your watercolor painters. You can also drop reinkers on and get a bigger block and drop multiple colors on there with your reinkers, and then use your water painters or your blender pens, whichever you prefer. But let me now show you the cards. So here's the first card. This obviously is this, right? And I used the Apple Harvest stamp set. This is a stamp set that I was gifted by my upline for doing something that I didn't know I was going to get a gift for, and she let me pick out a stamp set. And this is probably a stamp set I would have never purchased. So I thought, well, I'll pick something I wouldn't purchase. If she's going to give it to me as a gift, then I can use it or not use it, right? If I didn't. But I've had a lot of fun playing with it. So this is my favorite kind of apple, Granny Smith apple. So it's colored with Granny Apple Green. And then here's the other card. And you can see my speckles on here. And it's this basically the exact same card. One just uses water and watercolor paper, and one just stamps and uses basic white cardstock. So which one do you like best? This one or that one? How about you leave me a comment and let me know. When all is said and done, I did definitely have a favorite. And that's why I wanted to show you both of them, because this kind of leans towards the clean lines, simple look, and this one's a little more on the grungy side. And typically I'm a clean and simple person, but I don't know. I kind of like this one. So let me know which one you like. And I am going to bring us back to my piece over here. So that was a quick and easy video today, right? We are almost at Christmas, and I wanted to keep it very quick and very easy for you. I know everyone is extremely busy. And I want to have a couple minutes at the end to just thank you for watching with me. Thank you for learning with me this year. We are all learning. I'm learning. You'd think I'd figure out now when I start a video that I would always have everything I want, but that rarely happens. Seems like I always come through and something I've not brought with me. So I would like to thank you for putting up with my learning, and I hope you learned a little something too. Have a very, very Merry Christmas. If you like today's video, give me a thumbs up. If it's your first time watching, I'd love to have you subscribe, help my channel grow. Thank you to those that have subscribed. It's fun to watch the numbers grow. And I appreciate you. So have a very, very Merry Christmas. I have decided to take the week between Christmas and New Year's off. catch up a bit on some things that I need to get done, and just hopefully have some time for relaxing. So I hope you do the same. I will not have a video next week. I will be back with you on the first Thursday of 2024. Can you believe it? Hard to believe, right? But we will see you then. And until then, Merry Christmas and Happy New Year. Bye-bye.